Hello, hello. Welcome to our channel. This is Two Crows on the Line. If this is your first time, I am Bren, and this is my beautiful mama Marsha, and we are tuning into collective consciousness. We both show up as an intermediary, intuitive, and mystic channeler delivering messages to whomever wants to tune in and play around in this realm with us at any time. So, whenever this message finds you, if there's a resonance, it's for you. And we thank you in advance for the gratitude for the energy that you do bring into this spontaneous, co creative, channeled experience. So, here we go.
We have a lot joining in with us today. That's fantastic. So in the spread today, how the spread is reading, we have a couple different energies playing. We have one direction here, which is the granite. And we spoke about that recently. Granite is all about various people coming together under a common goal. Though we set our differences aside, groups that normally wouldn't find come in common in an area find themselves meeting each other, coming together, and then working towards a common goal. We do see up here the other energy flow that is coming this direction. The granite is kind of pulling things this way. We have another energy flow coming this way, and that is up to the rune stone for beginning a journey. Underneath that, we have the higher vibration, that high level of communication with your higher self and divinity and spirituality. It's that higher self, that message, maybe purpose coming through for your life at the moment. That is underlaying that starting of a journey. And there is a little bit of a pause in between. So you're just maybe getting those that you're working through, and you're like getting in contact with higher self and understanding maybe what the purpose of your service is at this time in your life. And that kind of draws around here. This is facing to the east, which is that new beginnings, that new journeys, new communities, new ways of being and living is what I'm hearing. Under this, we have the brown moonstone here. And I just wanted to take a minute and look at my sheet on brown moonstone. So in my sheet here, it is calm the mind, soothe the spirit. And I think that that is a really important message for those of you who have tuned in today to this reading. It is becoming attuned with that ebb and flow. In understanding that, and it's also representing the cycle of mother, maiden, and crone. So whichever part of that journey that you are beginning on or moving into. When we look at the center here, it's kind of like we're getting everything ready to move forward. And then, and I'm just going to look here again. We have two of the same stone, and I wanted to make sure that these were indeed a pair that I have here. And they are. And these work on all chakra levels. So each level of energy, and it's balancing the mind and body, right? So then now, instead of coming from just a physical reaction or state or a mental, right? Or just emotional in reacting versus responding. We are coming into an alignment in that, in balance of body and mind. It removes negative energy. It's a really good stone for meditation. So taking a moment now to pause, to go inward, get in touch with higher spirit, before we take those, that next flow outward. Here we have a carnelian and a rose stone. Rose quartz all about those relationships. And yes, it is about love, right? But it's the strength of love that we can have for each other or for community or our commitment in strengthening that. And then here we have abundance coming in. And so those are balanced with the other ones. So we have a four-way here. Which is balancing out so that we can move forward and we can be the leaders coming together. We can be starting our journey, but I feel that these energies are going to combine. So those newly on the path, those are already leaders that are coming together to that common goal. And then over here, we have a malachite. And oh, I'm so sorry. That is an azurite. It's blue malachite is why I was thinking malachite here. And again, this is opening the communication to higher powers. So not only do we have our higher self trying to get messages to us and talking to us, we also have that communication with higher power. All that is God, the Christ consciousness. And in those, again, we're having this balance play. We're having a balance play and a balance play. So it's that coming together, kind of in that ebb and flow state of where we're going to go next. So if you think about that, any goal is obtainable. We don't have to go straight up that mountain. Sometimes we need to come forward. We need to come back, catch our breath, make sure we're still in alignment, and then we move forward again. And that is what I have today for where we are collectively, what we're working on. Choice points. I like to talk about choice points. That journey, right? Not second guessing what your higher self is telling you. Reaching out here to higher communications and hearing that message, and then coming back at a calm and balanced state, and then welcoming that abundance in as we move forward as a collective. That's what I've got.
All right. I love it. I definitely am feeling that, and so is Redbird. For me, it was like we've kind of stepped into this collective choice point, a pause, an invitation to pause and integrate. And what I was getting was the concept of, as above, so below, as within, so without, almost like the cross, and what you kind of
Mm.
spoke to of the mind and the body and the coming together in the heart space. And so it's really asking for making sure that we pause because we might be fine tuning and really stepping into a full heart-based embodiment that can feel all the emotions that are there in yourself and in others, as well as the thoughts and what you perceive and consciousness coming in, yet coming together to be totally physically present and then respond. So instead of being moved by your emotions or someone else's or thoughts that are coming in, it's and moving you from a fear-based response or control. It's we're coming together in community to a full embodiment of presence to then step in as leaders in a community coming into bringing new relationship dynamics in. So it's kind of like this one kind of final integration opportunity to see where fear is moving you and where love wants to move you. So you spoke to tuning into, you can tune into that higher self, higher consciousness, divine love, that heart space, and choose to operate from there, not discarding what comes in from the mental emotional state, but actually bringing it into the love space, saying, well, I'm feeling this come alive here. Or you can be lovingly present with emotions that are coming alive for someone and the thoughts that it invokes in you or the thoughts that are being spoken out towards you, and depersonalize it so that you can stay lovingly present and work toward a common goal without getting stuck in the personalized assumptions or games. So it's where I think we're really stepping into clear communication that's coming from a heart-centered space of knowing ourselves in security and not feeding into any of those insecure patterns or belief systems. And even if they are coming up, pausing and reminding of the divine love that we are, and that reminding of the goal that we're here to do, right? What are you here that you really feel called to do that's in the heart space, not of the mind or being manipulated by the emotions, the emotional pull, but then working with those to support a heart-centered, a heart-based goal. So to turn the mental and emotional bodies inward on your team, bring consciousness from above in the heavens into the physical body while also pulling up any of the physical form again in the feminine to wisdom to meet that consciousness in the heart space, and that's the divine child, right? And we're being asked to move forward from this space, honoring the totality of duality, the interdependence and the individuality and the uniqueness that each person, each part plays of the whole in a shared common goal. So it's definitely a time of community coming into union within, and now embodying that, unwavering in that, in whatever community that you find yourself either currently in or being called to. There may be some shifts there that of new beginnings, right, coming in. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm picking up on. Anything to wrap us up?
Um, just, and with what you said, yeah, and I was thinking about this because we did have some technical difficulties. We had some different things going on today. And, when we see these spaces here, right? And in their mind, it's of, oh, hey, I gotta look at this sheet. Let me look at this sheet again and hear what that message is, And so it is that flow state, that trust state, coming at it from a very centered perspective, and then bringing forward to out, and everything is perfect in this moment and now. So you know I liked how you said bringing it in to be centered before you're pulling out, taking that pause. I think that's where I was going with that, is taking that pause and making sure I centered, um, and that's just a good reminder of those pause points in there.
Yeah, and I think one final point I want to bring up is pause, center, inspired action, watch for perfectionism. So something that came out
Yeah.
for this video was like, taking the time to try it on, to explore, to have fun with it, but don't, take the time to, we were figuring out all our systems and they're still not working right. Like I just realized just now, like my camera, I set up the wrong camera on mine. And so just a reminder that taking your time in this unfolding is perfect. You have enough time to do that, and don't let perfectionism stop you from just creating, right? You have enough self-awareness, and now we're in the embodiment phase, but sometimes in this phase that doubt creeps in, or that fear of how you're going to be perceived creeps in, or you start to doubt your own knowing and self. And so I think we're going to be walking through some of those of getting more secure in our sense of self by trying things on and playing. So have a lot of grace and playfulness in like, oh, okay, I just tried this way of having a conversation on and calling that higher version of me in, or that higher self, or the
Mhm.
dialogue that I really want to embody from a state of divine consciousness and love. And it didn't quite, I had a little kinks, right? We might have a little kinks in this pause period, but don't, yeah, I know. The pause is about, the pause isn't about retreating right now, actually. The pause is not about retreating and making yourself perfect and then showing up perfectly. The pause is about taking the pause in the moment of maybe conflict or diversity or emotions coming up with you, or thoughts, but only for a breath to pause and breathe in and allow consciousness and divine love and your higher self to speak through you and respond So it is where we've maybe had to retreat uh, to find that grounding. It's almost like the message is you found it. You know how to find it. Now you get to actualize it in real time. You get to practice the divine presence that you are, and it's not perfect. And don't let perfection keep you from expressing or trying to come into community because you may have parts that want to hide. They may want to go back to where you came from or where it feels safe.
Yep. It's the time to wrap up. So we will honor that and do a wrap for this time. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you had insight, and we'll see you on the next go round.